there.
All right. So
I don't like to be on camera.
okay. So and that's fine. We have different levels of comfort level in exposing ourselves socially, and I, unlike Mac, will respect that. All right.
Yeah. So what's in your right vest pocket? There's that another cigar? No,
Oh.
right, no,
Oh
you're
my
right.
God, I
There
have a
you-
ghost in my house.
I'm sorry. This is in case someone gets through Cody and Tucker, which will never happen
Well,
because of their training.
This is what I
Somebody
have.
just
That's in
security
case you
on me.
get through Doug. I got this.
Good going. Good
Yeah.
going. So the police can have that to write the police report of what happened.
No, it's what you taught me to get one of these rigid ones. Where's my camera at?
That's very good.
Where?
But what do you do with it? Oh, that's very
Bam!
good.
Upside the head.
That and you got to say it that way.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Oh.
Okay, where's
Yes.
your? Okay, so it's been a week, and I've not seen either of you, so it is great seeing you. But as I walked into the virtual living room that we all enjoy collectively, I saw Pipe's shirt. Pipe, what does that say? I can't see it on camera. What is your shirt saying?
Hats. Oh, that.
Oh, that's
What?
a horrible idea. What time?
that you've had that since the 70s, I think.
This is my mantra right now.
All right, that's very.
I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be going, but I will be.
But there you go. All right, so since
life's too short. You got. You know what? You got to
Exactly. So I'm embracing like my bad decisions.
all right.
Bill, are we part of the bad decisions? What do you think?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not young enough to be her.
Every week.
I'm not young enough to be her love child, so I guess I'm not that bad decision. So that's cool. So I got focused on your T-shirt. So and I forgot Mac. Mac, how was your week? What was happening this week for you?
As you can see, I'm a little bundled up here. We've had some cold weather snap coming through. A little snow yesterday here.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
we have a lot of snow here.
I haven't paid my gas bill, so I got to bundle up here. So we got to get some more followers, so we get some sponsorship, so I can pay my gas bill and be able to do the show warm.
Okay, so tonight we're broadcasting from Cuba, so I don't get a lot of snow. What do you guys do with the yellow snow when you're out walking? What's the deal with that? You walk.
Depends on who wrote it. Depends on who the author was.
All right. Very good. So you're getting a lot of snow in your area, and you guys are about what 4 or 5 hours apart by dog sled. So are you getting as much snow pipes as Mac is? Snow pipes. What's a snow fucking pipe?
We have a ton of snow right now. Like last night was our big snowfall. So pipes, my husband, the other pipe.
The male pipe.
He and I split and stacked a cord and a half of wood last night. Got it all situated, thank God. Yes, me.
Yeah, you see those blisters. You got your calluses? Yeah.
I split and stacked a cord and a half of wood yesterday.
Okay, for myself and the other Jews listening, what's a cord? I know that people say we're going to drop off a cord, but how much is that?
It's like a truck. Like
if you measure it,
of a truckload.
It's 8 feet wide by 4 feet high and 2 feet deep.
Okay, and how many cords will you burn through a winter in your area?
We have 7 cords right now, and we'll probably get through that. So we've split and stacked 7 cords of wood in the last couple weeks.
Well, and so
a lot of wood.
What happens?
It's a lot more wood than a lot of people have.
Well, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Well,
Not
if
bad,
a piper could chuck wood, it was 7 cords in the last couple of weeks.
So 8 by 4 by 2?
Yeah, I believe that's the measurement.
And then it comes in rounds like this big. So then you have to cut them all down so they can fit into your fireplace.
So you're splitting them.
What do you mean it comes in? That's something you chopped down a tree yourself and did this, or you had?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
You ordered rounds. You
Well,
bought
no,
rounds?
we just ordered wood, and it depends on who kind of brings it. But we ordered like big tamarack, like pieces of tamarack. Oh my gosh! And this stuff splits like butter. It's amazing. Most of it, not all of it. So it burns like really, really clean, which is great for your fireplace. And we have 2 wood burning fireplaces in our house.
Okay.
So
if this splits like butter in some of my martial arts demonstration where I take perfectly good bones and jam it against a piece of wood until my fingers hurt, are bruised or swollen and sometimes break, would that help me? I need tamarack for demonstrations?
tamarack.
Well, okay, then turmeric for anti-inflammatories.
Yes. No, literally at times you hit it perfectly and it just shatters.
Okay.
And then it's like straight, like smooth wood. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You know what? I'll bring some pieces to the next show.
Okay. Yes, we need that. But would you send me a C cord of tamarack? So in my next, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't know. Jackie Chan and I were marital arts. Jackie Chan and I were talking about how much we hate name droppers. And there were, a couple other guys. Bruce Lee came by. Bruce Lee actually came by, great grandson, but I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, we're doing these things, and I could use some of that butter breaking up thing to oil whatever you guys do on the wood.
Get some balsa wood. That'll go well for you.
Good. All right. Perfect.
Yeah. That's what Steven Seagal. My friend Steven Seagal. Don't want to drop names.
Don't.
But he likes to hit that. He likes to hit that balsa wood.
I'm not the only Jewish guy in Japan who has his own dojo in Aikido, but that guy is tough. I've talked to some people who worked with him, and he just breaks bones. In fact, that's one of the extras crying out in pain. But let me ask you guys, in the last week, have you guys gone out to dinner at all? Keith Carradine, autoerotic asphyxia. You know what that is?
Yeah, that's what that. Yeah,
that he does. Is that who is that? Is that
Ruger? Could you excuse me for 1 second?
No, Ruger's getting paid for the show, but he's welcome to come in. So
he's something is.
Oh no,
amiss.
Go ahead.
At the Piper.
So when Piper is checking out for wild moose or whatever the last video she sent of her house being attacked on. Mac, have you been out to dinner recently with you and your wife?
I have not gone out at all.
All right. Have you had in your area of the world, do they have takeout? Do they have Uber Eats or what do you guys call that? DoorDash? Anything like that?
All that's available, but
you guys never use it.
No, never. I've never used a food delivery service.
Okay, so Mac is not going
to... Other than pizza 10, 20 years ago. But
okay. Well, we ordered pizza like 3 weeks ago, and it was like for pizza for maybe 3 people. Last time I ordered pizza was like $22.50 plus tip. $60 for the same pizza. We went out for... what is it that my son and Riley, Joey and Riley in San Francisco eat? Ramen. All right. We went to a place for ramen by a bike shop, nothing high end, $63 including tips, so $48 or $49. Ramen, noodles, and a piece of old chicken that I think died from the virus. I think just
is
crazy.
That pho? You're talking about pho?
No, I'm talking about ramen, Japanese ramen. So,
but pho is a noodle dish too. That's why I was making sure I understood.
Vietnamese. So remember our demographics. If you look at our podcasts and TikToks, we have a huge Vietnam contingent, and we have about 45% of our activity comes from Japan. So I think it would behoove us, if you want to continue reaping the financial benefits of our podcast, you should learn that. But I know, Pipes, you I know, have an occasion to visit a pizza place a couple times a week. Have the prices gone up?
It's not that well, yes, prices have gone up across the board because it's so hard to get products. And with certain things, like, this is the craziest thing, chicken wings. Chicken wings, like, by the case, went up exponentially in the last 2 years. Like, ridiculous. And
Okay.
of course, every, like, casual restaurant always has kind of chicken wings on the menu, things like that. But it's not that. It's the order stuff. It's the DoorDash, Uber Eats. If you get on there and you actually break down what they're doing, or, okay, this is always my go-to when I'm trying to prove a point, is Arby's. Okay?
What point are
So
you
it's,
proving with Arby's?
I know. Well, I'm proving a point, trust me.
That guy has
Really,
a deeper voice. I like the commercials.
I do too.
Yeah.
Love the commercials. And it is a great hangover cure, in my opinion, like a roast beef sandwich.
Okay.
So roast beef and cheddars, if you drive by an Arby's, are 2 for $6.
Okay.
Okay, for the sake of argument.
I'm not arguing
Right
over
now,
that.
I just get on your phone and get on Uber Eats and order one roast beef and cheddar sandwich, and it's $8 and something cents. So on an ordering app, it's not the same price as if you drove through the drive-through of an establishment. So they ding you on the Uber Eats app,
They will
and
make money
then
somehow.
they get you on, like, service fees, and they never tell you exactly what the service fees are. But I mean, it's a total racket. It's amazing. So it's the delivery aspect much more so than the establishment aspect.
Well, so the point of this is that I was trying to figure out. Now, I'm not to price hikes. I fill my car up every week, and I know that, buying stuff is more expensive, and certainly food. I'm just amazed when it's just Patty and myself, and though she loves to cook, when I'm working on the weekends, and I was on call last week, I didn't have time, so we didn't feel like cooking, so we would go out for a brief, trip off the mountain here, and then going into town and getting food. I can't believe how crazy expensive it is. So I don't know how people are surviving. I don't know how people are doing. Everyone talks about the economy, and I'm not trying to be political. I'm just wondering how people are surviving, and it's a crazy thing. A lot of things I do for this trying to survive financially, and the thing that shouldn't really cost us is be able to be healthy and to exercise, whether it's walking or martial arts or even yoga. And I started thinking about is when I was looking up different exercises I can do or I can use for my patients in yoga, or what I can do for relaxation. I came across some articles about yoga which really fit in our sexual health podcast that I'd like to start, if I can, with Pipes and Mac, and welcome our listeners to another episode of Sexual Health Podcast. And really, this is what I want to know today, is what yoga has to do with sexual health. What's the interplay? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Yoga and sexuality. What are your thoughts? Mac, I know that you are an athlete. Well, you're always an athlete. Like, I was born Jewish. I'm always a Jew. So if you were an athlete at one point, you're going to be an athlete now. So, and I know that you exercise. Do you know anything about yoga? Do you know anything about it in sexuality?
I know yoga only from a layman's term. I don't know yoga from a personal experience. And I'm anxious to learn more about this subject because I just did some brief reading on it. So I don't know too much. We do know that exercise is good for you, good for many reasons, and it definitely assists in the sexual health aspect as well. But so my question back to you is on this one, Dr. Bill, as you educate me on this, is why yoga? Why can't we say jumping jacks or push-ups or something that still gets blood pumping, makes you feel good, gets your endorphins going, all that stuff. And I don't mean to, I'm not trying to belittle it. I'm just trying to understand it. And so please educate me on what you've read about the yoga being the connection to sexual health. I mean, bottom line is exercise, awesome. Get in it, do it when you can. Maybe yoga is for those with, who can't do high impact type exercises, maybe a low impact. But I just encompass it all encompassing with exercise. Exercise as a whole, no matter how you get it, it's going to help you.
Well, let me tackle that. But before I tackle that, if I may, let's shoot to Pipes. And Pipes, what is your read? If we just talk about, and your questions and your queries are important and relevant, and I want to address it. But let me turn to Pipes for a moment, if I may. And what are her thoughts? Just what comes to mind when you talk about yoga and sexuality, if it's a good or bad thing?
Okay.
Or does it have any impact?
Everything has an impact on me. No, I'm kind of with Mac on the whole endorphin aspect. So it's like the physical, you're athletically kind of getting your body going. But I think with yoga, and in all honesty, I'm not a yoga girl. Haven't done it. Probably should. I don't have a really great attention span that most people who know me know that. So for me to have to like really focus on my body and mind and everything all at the same time would be really, really tough. So, but I understand the importance of kind of having that mind body connection and how good that is. One, there's a lot of strength aspects of yoga, and there's definitely the mind aspect and the physical aspect. So you are have the capability to bring your body to another level of something. Kind of goes down that whole Kama Sutra aspect, in my opinion. And I'll be very interested, Bill, into what you think about this. But I think anytime you're confident in your body and you have strength in your body and your mind is good, then your sexual health like can resonate from that. And that's how I think about the whole yoga sexual health aspect.
You guys are throwing out some very relevant and factual, truthful things.
We're playing devil's advocate. We're playing the role of the listener. Listen to your broadcast here, Dr. Bill. So kind of educate us on this stuff. Trish brought up Kama Sutra, and Kama Sutra, if you look at it, it's all about mind, body, experience, eroticism, sexuality, emotional fulfillment. So, and Trish brought up a good point on Kama Sutra, and what I've read on yoga kind of tries to make that connection as well. So, well, sorry for interrupting. I'll let you continue.
No, and so give me a few minutes on this because it's very interesting. And all of what you're saying actually gives me great segues into a couple minutes of discussion. First of all, when you talk about Kama Sutra and mind, body, and eroticism and sexuality, probably in 1973 or 74, I saw I've always been brilliant, first of all. So I was advanced for my age, as you know. Right now, though I look older, I'm only 38. So I'm advancing rapidly. But I signed up for a course in college that was marital arts. And at that time, I was really into my own body. I was working out aggressively. I was into at 23, or how old was I? I can't remember.
I was just 15. I was just 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't remember how old or whatever I was. So in 1973, I was old enough to be having sex, even though no one else thought I should be. But the marital arts to me intrigued me. So I signed up for the course thinking I was going to learn how to be a better lover, learn how to communicate, learn how to express myself from a sexual point of view. And like all younger guys, I basically was not paying attention. And what I thought was a marital arts course, I showed up the first night, and it was a dojo. It was a martial arts course, not marital arts. And I got the shit beaten out of me. And so that's what I thought that lovemaking was all about. Of course, by a female, which set the pace for what my history has been in dating. So that's one issue. And we've talked. So you got to be very careful in before you sign on anything, contracts, certainly in the housing market right now, certainly financially, read the fine print. So my marital arts course was basically a combat course, and that's how I actually broke my nose. I had a very Norwegian
welcome to marriage.
Yeah, welcome to my life. But when we talk about sexual health, sex, as I've said before, if you get rid of the communication and the emotional aspect, sex is really a marathon. It's a workout. It's a sport, and I'm not being misogynist. Is that the term, guys? I've got my team here, Jose and Shelby, on the Sexual Health Podcast team here, kind of making sure I don't get in trouble anymore. But it is it's you have to have a certain physical ability to walk up a flight of stairs. Really, if you could walk up a flight of stairs, actually in the U.S. the energy equivalence of sex is about walking up 2 flights of stairs. So if you can do that from a physical point of view, that's your limit. That's the basic level of physical that you need. That's in the U.S. Unfortunately, in France and Italy, it's running a marathon because they just have sex in a better way than we do. But so the importance of physical activity.
It's better.
Who knows? I don't know. After 3 minutes, I pass out. Here's the issue. What are you laughing at?
Me too.
Our job.
I was laughing and
with me, not at
brotherhood.
me. In brotherhood. Okay. The whole idea of Sexual Healing Podcast is to leave our judgments at the studio door and to offer education and entertainment. I think you have just a little too much entertainment. So it's a physical activity. It's a workout. It's a sport. It's an exercise. So yes, any kind of physical activity you need to prepare yourself, both from a cardiovascular point of view and a resistance, a weight resistance point of view, and have a certain amount of muscle mass. And as we talked about before, specifically, very interestingly, in female sexual dysfunction, there's research, clinical research, that indicates that women do better sexually. They experience orgasm more comfortably. They're more relaxed with a little bit of cardiovascular activity, working out, running in place, anything, treadmill, bicycling, for about 15 minutes prior to intercourse. I mean, that's crazy research, but that's in the science books. When we talk about yoga, when we talk about relaxation techniques, we think about meditation. Most yoga practitioners don't think about this for weight loss or necessarily strengthening. We talk about the ability to meditate, to be comfortable in one's skin, to feel good about our body image. And there's some physical aspects of stretching and mobility, those kinds of things, which obviously are important for sexual activity. For me and a lot of Jews, the problem with yoga is there's nothing that allows us to learn how to beg. Okay, to learn to teach us how to whine.
There's probably a pose out there somewhere.
There's something out there, yeah, the begging pose as opposed to Warrior 2. So yoga has the opportunity to allow us to to meditate and medicate, and to relax and to learn how to breathe. And with that relaxation, meditation, and calm, it allows us to be a little more comfortable in our own skin, which is a great term. I love that. And it's really being comfortable with our body image and knowing what our body can do. So I think that's some great benefit. And so I use some yoga in my practice for pelvic relaxation, which we've talked about before, which helps some physical aspects of bladder function and bowel function. But to relax and feel comfortable in what we're doing physically is a great thing. And also not to have the aches and pains and lower back pain or be limited by our inabilities to have range of motion. So yoga is a great thing. However, what do you guys think about the negative aspects of yoga? Is there something that we may be putting too much pressure on the act of yoga as far as it relates to sexual activity?
A couple of things I want to suggest. You mentioned that there's studies done that show that a woman can exercise for 15 minutes, or is it 50, or however long, 15 minutes before a sexual activity? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, first of all, as a guy, I don't want my woman come to bed sweaty. I want to make her sweaty in the bed, right? So that's a turnoff for me personally. Secondly, you mentioned meditate.
You want to get her there.
Yeah, I want to get her hot and bothered, not a Peloton bike.
Well, then be her Peloton trainer. That's some role playing that you guys can do. And it eliminates the need for you to wear that French maid outfit that you've been using for years.
I spent a lot of money on that.
You.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that thing. I'm using it till it freaking falls apart.
Fully understand.
The other thing you talk about is medicate and meditate. Well, medicate, you talk about losing your mind and relaxing and stuff. Well, here in the state of Washington, we can take an edible. We're relaxed. Our mind's going. So we're, and there's a lot of people who will promote edible sex, cannabis, whatever, and get that fulfillment. And I'm not trying to downplay. I'm trying to come off a couple of things you had said. The medication aspect would help. But yeah, I'm not anti-exercise. I'm pro-exercise. And to answer your question on what's bad about yoga, I don't think anything's bad about any type of exercise unless your body can't take high impact and you have to go low impact, and you got to feel like you're 18 again. You can lift a lot of heavy weights. We got to work out within we have to know our limits, as Clint Eastwood would say. Man's got to know his expectations, but we need to embrace all exercises. In yoga, I think for what you've touched on, Bill, for the pelvic relaxation, pelvic strengthening, all those aspects are very positive. I'm really trying to think about what's the negative. Again, there's no negative in any type of exercise as far
Actually,
as I'm concerned.
There is. I spent a lot of time in Southern California on the beaches every summer.
That's when you're just showing off. That's for showing off. That's a vanity thing. We're talking about.
Yeah, no, I have my own personal gym that goes out on the sand, and I'm pumping iron. I thought that's her name, pumping iron. But where the negatives are very interesting, and there are some definite negatives, and I want to address it. But let me get Pipe's concept of that. Where are the negatives of yoga and sexual health?
I don't know. I'm kind of with Mac on that.
Yeah.
Is where are the negatives? You're getting, better health, you're getting better breathing, you're getting, all of these good self-confidence, the strength aspect. I don't see yoga as a negative in general because I feel like it's low, talk to me. Low impact. Obviously, it's for no impact because you're not doing this. So there's low harm to the body. So the benefits are really like the breathing and the strengthening and the
stretching
and the whole mental concept of like becoming one with your body and all of that. So I can't imagine that there's negatives of yoga to sexual health. In fact, I think that it's probably, no matter what, even if you do it on a very limited amount, is going to benefit you in some aspect.
I
I got. Let me take a.
Go ahead.
Let me take a shot of a negative. Let me take a shot of
Go
a
ahead.
negative. Two things. A shot of a negative is your expectations. Your expectations, what you think I'm going to get out of this, and you may not achieve it, or you may, like anything, oh, a little bit's good, more's better. So you start doing more exercise, you're unable to. So that might you may not understand your limitations,
and you hurt
so
yourself.
that's the negative.
Absolutely.
You hurt yourself.
Great
The
call.
other negative the other negative I see is your partner. You may be into the yoga and the partner, all that stuff, but your partner's like, I'm fine the way I am, and so you're doing it all to help that connection, and during the sexual activity, and they're doing nothing, and they can't, not keep up, but they don't seem to be as spiritually, physically as involved, and that could be a negative. All of a sudden, I have a disconnect here. I need to have a real connection. Those are the two negatives I see from it. So
I think you're absolutely correct, but let me go a different level.
Okay.
And because by almost by definition, the three of us have already established ourselves as people who indicate that sex is important, that no matter what your level of education, economic status, physical ability, what your physical beauty is, what your mental acumen is or understanding, that everyone should enjoy sex. But I deal with the entire world. I deal with the entire spectrum of people that come to me, and there are people, a very good segment, a large segment, an embarrassingly and uncomfortable level of the segment of society who are uncomfortable with themselves and feel marginalized. They don't understand the concept of yoga, not that they're not smart, they just don't get it. I have a lot of very bright, very people on a higher level socioeconomically than I'll ever achieve that just don't get it. We've talked about before that my Patty does Pilates and loves it and is there, I don't know, several times a week. I tried Pilates in an effort to improve my work as a martial artist. I couldn't get it conceptually. I just didn't get it. But yoga, for many people, seems very cool and hip and a different level. And there are people that don't understand yoga. And there are people that are uncomfortable in sitting. I won't go to a class. I know enough to work on my own frailties in what yoga does for me, and I can get to that point. Or I've had yoga people that have worked in my clinics before that work with me on on specific issues. I'm an advantage guy. I'm an advantage almost white guy, so I get it. So there are people that just can't get into it. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. They don't understand the concept and they feel intimidated. Imagine dating a yoga instructor and you're maybe 10% or 10 pounds overweight and don't feel themselves pretty comfortable, that they're comfortable as a sexual being, and for some reason they're on a date and they turn out to be in a sexual experience with a yoga instructor, that can be pretty intimidating. So as someone who works with therapists, as someone who I'm sorry, Pipes, as someone who considers himself a person who understands the psychology of sexual health, and someone who is a practitioner in the physical aspects of sexual dysfunction, I understand that's a big part of the community I deal with. So I have to be aware of that. And I have to be aware of the feeling of intimidation, the feeling of a sense of being marginalized, and that's a big, big deal. So I love the fact that as three of us who are professionals, as three of us who have a true understanding of the importance of sexuality and believe that they have a handle on all aspects of what is what our population is dealing with, the three of us as experts don't really have an understanding, and we're the best that most people have. And it's important, it's incumbent, it's absolutely mandatory that, not in everything in the world from a political point of view, but this is an appropriate platform to be inclusive of people that just don't get it. And that's not a negative thing. I wish there was a better term I had than this don't get it. But we want to encourage people to tell us our stories, to listen and to view and to comment about what's going on with their own sexual health. This discussion, a beautiful discussion on yoga, has turned out to be a life lesson for all the three of us, including me. I thank our production staff, Jose.
Real quick, Bill, real quickly, if I can, one more thing before you sign off. You mentioned martial arts, and I'm assuming, just like I did before I performed my sport, we went through minutes and minutes, if not tiresome amount of time stretching, doing stretching exercises and stuff. You probably do it for martial arts. I did it.
I do it for marital arts. All right.
Okay, marital arts, you're stretching now. But yoga is a form of stretching. So for the people who don't get it, if we just use a different terminology in stretching, just lay down on the floor and stretch, would you feel that be as beneficial?
I think that's great. I think it's a great.
Okay.
I think it's a great thought, because a lot of people come to me with bad erections, and it turns out they have lower back pain and they have electronic pain pumps or blockage, nerve stimulators for control of their lower back, which affects sexual health. As if I give you an implant, if I give you this medicine, if I give you this testosterone and make you a better person from a sexual point of view, a more effective sexual being, can your pain threshold take it? And more often than not, says that's a good point. So yeah, exercise. Yoga is not, I used to think of yoga as
it in any capacity.
What's that?
Can they sustain it at any capacity?
Yeah, good point.
Pain tolerance,
yeah,
like physically, there's so many aspects.
The getting a hard penis or having a vaginal vault that is lubricated and is sensitive to stimulation isn't all that's necessary for good sex. It's the total being. So that's really important point. So thank you, Mac, for bringing that up, yep. and thank you, Pipes, for re-illustrating that. I want to thank Cody and Tucker, our security personnel. I want to thank our production staff, Shelby and Jose, for making this transmission tonight, this production possible. Great talk, great lesson, interesting, I hope entertaining, and I hope educating. Shelby, talk to us. Where can our team, where can our listeners, where can our viewers contact us with their question? We want to hear their stories. We know that you and Jose are working overtime to continuing us to be a presence on social media. Tell us about what avenues our listeners can pursue.
YouTube is a great, we have a great channel on YouTube, so it'd be Sexual Healing Podcast. On YouTube, you can search it, although we're really new, so we're pending our personalized URL, if anybody knows what that means.
No fucking clue. Where can our people contact us?
Facebook, you can find Sexual Healing Podcast at Dr. Bill Mac and Pipes, all spelled out. On TikTok, you're going to search at Sexual Healing Podcast. Same with Instagram. And the new Twitter account at sexual_podcast.
Thank you, Elon Musk. Let's see how long it takes us to be eliminated. Jose, take us out. We thank you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Stay warm. And I'm going to go surfing as soon as I can take this suede vest off. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Have a great week.
Good night. Good night. Thank you all.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
Thank you for joining the show that never ends. We will pause with our part. However, you can reach us at sexualhealingpodcast.org. We are here to make your sexual health be everything you want it to be. We'll visit with you next week for another episode of Sexual Healing Podcast. Stay sexy out there.